Hello and welcome to Nithrania YouTube channel. You're watching another episode of the Game in a Nutshell series designed for explaining the board game rules. My name is Branislav Berec, and in this video I'm going to show you how to play Euthia, Torment of Resurrection in a solo mode and the cooperative mode. If you don't know how to play the base game yet, please watch my other tutorial for the base game rules first, because in this video I'm only going to show you the differences to the base game rules. And without any further ado, let's get started. When setting the scenario up, for one player for a solo game, only use 2 fixed map tiles for each chapter. You can find these tiles on page 31 in the rulebook. Then you will need this deck of combat cards, shuffle them and place them face down, and 2 dice of one color. Finally, make sure you use the components for a solo game. From these gold cards, take out all the soul control cards for the multiplayer game and only use the soul control cards for the solo game, which are indicated by this icon. The same applies for the hero tiles, only use the tiles which are intended for the solo game. Then, during the gameplay, when you reveal this witch encounter, again, don't use the cards which are only intended for the multiplayer game, and only use the cards for the solo game. Shuffle them, remove 2 cards at random, and then reveal the top 2 cards face up. All the rewards on the witch encounter cards in a solo game are the same. You get a level 3 treasure tile and 3 coins. These dark amulet reward tiles are not used. They're only used in a 2 to 4 player game. When you reveal any other encounter, take all the corresponding cards, shuffle them and remove 4 cards at random, and again reveal the top 2 cards face up. Since in a solo game the monster is controlled by these combat cards, the use of these silver and gold cards is also slightly modified. For that purpose, leave some space next to both stacks for additional piles of these cards called caches, so the silver cache and the gold cache. At the beginning of each round, take 1 card from the deck of silver cards and place it into this silver cache. Whenever this silver cache contains 4 silver cards, discard those cards, and by discarding you put them at the bottom of the deck, and then place 1 gold card to the gold cache. There is no limit on the number of gold cards in the gold cache. Now, although you as the hero player don't use these cards to control the monster, you can still collect those cards, and anytime you take a silver card, add 1 silver card to the silver cache, and anytime you take a gold card, add 1 gold card to the gold cache. Then at any time when you have 4 silver cards in your hand, you may discard those cards and gain 1 gold. And at any time you can discard 1 gold card and again gain 1 gold. You still have the total limit of 5 of these cards in your hand, and in addition to exchanging for gold, you may also need them for certain special rules in the scenario. Then there are some changes to the combat rules. First, when you reveal the monster, add the corresponding number of silver or gold cards to the silver or the gold cache. Here we have 1 silver card, so that will be 1 card to the silver cache. Don't forget that if you have 4 cards in the silver cache, discard them and add 1 gold card. Prepare the Gaar tokens and the chaos tokens as usual. Then, during the monster attack phase, instead of rolling the dice, draw the top card from this combat deck and set the dice value to the values shown on the card. So here we have 1 and 5. Then if you would play an air essence at the start of the combat, which allows you to remove 1 die, you always remove the die shown on the left. Then apply all other effects as usual, check for the She's intervention if it needs to be resolved. Then if the combat is influenced by the air elemental and if the die values are not the same, flip the die with the higher value to its opposite side. And if the hex is influenced by the earth elemental, you would add +2 to the combat value. Then the monster attack phase continues with the Gaar tokens, chaos actions, and then the hero's response. So first, the Gaar tokens. For each Gaar token depicted, if the monster has a Gaar token, and the die with the lowest value shows 1, 2 or 3, place that Gaar token near the dice and re-roll that die. If the combat card would show multiple Gaar tokens, resolve each token one by one. Then proceed to the chaos actions. For each chaos symbol depicted, the monster tries to perform one chaos action. For that, the monster must have at least one chaos token available, and there must be at least one card in the gold cache or silver cache. Combat cards may contain maximum 2 chaos symbols. So when performing the chaos actions, you will perform 1 or 2 chaos actions. Let me first show you how the procedure works when you only have one chaos symbol. So, if the card contains one chaos symbol and the monster has at least one chaos token available, the monster performs only one chaos action. To do that, if the gold cache contains any cards, start revealing the cards from that gold cache, and the card you reveal determines the chaos action the monster will take, but we don't know how strong, how powerful that action will be. So, continue revealing cards from the gold cache until you either reveal the 3 cards of the same type, which means the monster will perform the most powerful effect from the card. So, take the chaos token, place it next to the cards, and since we have 3 cards in the stack, perform the most powerful effect. After that, discard the chaos token and discard the cards to the corresponding discard pile. Or, when you reveal cards, and the card you reveal is of a different type than the cards you have revealed so far, place that card at the bottom of the corresponding cache, stop revealing the cards, take the chaos token and place it next to the cards, and perform the effect of the corresponding power. In this case, it would be the effect from the second row. The same applies when you reveal the cards. All of them are of the same type, but then there are no more cards in the gold cache remaining. Stop revealing the cards and perform the action with the corresponding effect. And in case there are no cards in the gold cache, but there are some cards in the silver cache, start revealing the cards from the silver cache and follow the same rules. So if you reveal a card which is of a different type, place it at the bottom of the silver cache and resolve the action with the corresponding power. Now, if the monster has 2 chaos symbols available and the monster has at least 2 chaos tokens available, which means the monster can perform 2 chaos actions, the process is similar but slightly more complicated. Instead of 1 stack, we will build 2 stacks of cards for 2 actions. If there are cards available in a gold stack, start revealing the cards, and when you reveal a card of the same type, add it to the same stack. If you reveal a card of a different type, start building the second stack. Then continue drawing the cards, and if the card is the same as the card from the second stack, you can add it to the second stack. However, if you draw a card of any different type, even from the first stack, stop drawing the cards, place that card to the bottom of the gold cache, and resolve both actions. Don't forget to place a chaos token on each stack of cards. In this case, the action would be performed from the second row because we have 2 cards here, and the same applies to the second stack. We would perform the action from the second row. After that, discard the chaos tokens and discard the cards to the corresponding discard piles. If you would draw the third card of the same type for the first stack, that stack would be now completed, and you would draw another card, but that would start another stack, even if you would draw the same type of card again. Since this is a completed stack, you have to start another stack, and then follow the same rules. If you draw a card of another type, place it at the bottom of the gold cache and perform these 2 actions with 2 chaos tokens. In this case, we would perform the action from the third row, here from the top row. If you would draw all the cards from the gold stack and they would all be of the same type, and then there would be no more gold cards available, those cards would be the first chaos action, again with the corresponding power. And after that, continue drawing cards from the silver cache if there are cards available. Again, follow the same rules. If you draw a card of a different type, place it at the bottom of that silver cache and perform the chaos action of the corresponding power. Here it would be the effect from the first row, because we only have one card. Keep in mind that the silver stack can only contain maximum 2 cards, and that would complete the stack. So in this example, stop drawing the cards, because this stack is now complete, and that determines the second chaos action with the effect from the bottom row. Again, at the end of the action, discard the chaos tokens and discard the cards. Then after these chaos actions are completed, the hero can now respond with their Gaar tokens and their items and abilities as usual. 2 small clarifications for the card effect. First, if you reveal a card with a healing effect, the healing card, and the monster has taken any damage previously, continue resolving these chaos actions normally. So draw another card and so on and so forth. However, if you reveal a healing card, but the monster has not taken any damage previously, stop revealing the cards, resolve the effect from that card immediately using the effects from the top row of that card. So you would add +2 to the combat value, but you would ignore this healing effect, and then proceed to the next chaos action. If you reveal the card with the healing effect again, place it to the bottom of the gold cache, and continue revealing cards until you reveal a card of a different type. That would define the second stack, the second action, and from now on you continue as usual. The second clarification is for these mind control cards. If the monster steals any Gaar tokens from the player, monster will not be able to use those Gaar tokens in this combat round. The reason for that is that these Gaar tokens are used in the first step, then these chaos actions are resolved, which is now, and therefore those Gaar tokens the monster steals now can only be used in the next combat round, again in the first step of the monster attack phase. And finally, when you die during the combat, place 1 chaos token on your player board, and that's a reminder for the final scoring. For each such token you would have to lose 2 reputation. Some scenarios are designed to be played cooperatively or semi-cooperatively, but you can play all scenarios in a cooperative way if you wish so. Use the setup from the solo game, so you will use the combat deck, and you will also need to use the gold cache and the silver cache. Also, use the cards and the hero tokens for the solo game, not for the multiplayer game. The cooperative game uses the standard rules with the following small changes. I will explain them just schematically here, because they're very easy and very simple. First, when performing the trade action, if there is a token of another player, you don't have to pay gold to that player. In order to perform the mining action on a hex where other players already have their tokens, instead of paying 1 gold to that player, you simply have to discard 1 gold card. The same applies for confronting the elemental. If another player or players have their tokens there, instead of paying 1 gold to such player or players, you have to discard 1 gold card for each token. Any interaction between players is forbidden, so they may not trade or exchange items or Gaar tokens or abilities or anything else. That's forbidden. At the start of each player's turn, add the cards to the silver cache. And when your hero dies during the combat, don't place a chaos token on your player board, but immediately lose 1 reputation and resurrect at the church. That also applies when your hero dies outside of combat. At the end of the game, since you lose or win cooperatively, there's no need for final scoring. So that's how we play Euthia, Torment of Resurrection in a solo mode and cooperative mode. If you would have any questions or comments, I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. If you like the series, please subscribe. You can even support the channel on the Patreon page. My name is Branislav Berec, you've been watching Game in a Nutshell, and hope to see you next time.